What's up guys, how is everybody? Hope everyone's well, and today what we are going to be doing is ranking every Premier League club's atmosphere, fans, you know it is. There'll be a lot of how I think the teams are going to be this year and a lot of how I think the teams have been overall with their atmosphere in this. We're going to get straight into it. If you enjoy, please make sure to drop a like, subscribe. We managed to hit our watch hours and now we just need those subscribers, get ourselves monetised, and it's a £100 Amazon gift card giveaway. We need to do it by the end of the year though, so make sure you're clicking that subscribe and turning notifications on and getting all your friends and family to do so also. And yeah, so first team we're going to get into is Bournemouth. Now Bournemouth last season, their ground's a very tight ground. It's, you know, you're quite closed in. It's always a tough place to go and get points from. Because you're almost suffocated in there. I think Bournemouth are going to start the season, their atmosphere is going to be buzzing, you know, their second straight season in the Prem. I think they'll be happy, but I do also think there might be a team to go down, so I think as usual, you know, with any team it's going to slowly decline. So I will put them across the majority of the season in below average. Just don't see them doing much, being that loud. You know, you talk about loud fans, you don't talk about Bournemouth essentially, do you really? So our next team then is Chelsea. Another team I think if they do really well could be loud, but it's that same thing where if they do bad like they did this season, it's gonna be silent. Near enough. Going off last season, it was silent. Last season their atmosphere was without doubt silent, without doubt. But I do think they're going to come back this season. I'm going to put them in average at the minute. That could quickly change to silent again if they start the season off poorly, so we will see. The jury is out for Chelsea. Now Everton, again, are another side that you just look at and I just think, well, they're not going to be average. I don't think they're going to do well again this season, but they're never quiet, are they? So I'm going to put them below average again due to team performance basis. I just don't think they're not going to have much to scream and cheer about, are they? Which isn't their fault, really. Next up then we have Arsenal, who I'm just going to put into loud. I think if they do as well as what they did last season, they are deafening. They were unreal this season with their atmosphere. But I don't think they're going to do as well, and I think their standards are going to be that high, so I do tip them to just you know, drop their levels a bit in their terms of atmosphere, but I could see them being loud. Brentford, I'm just going to put them in average again for them. I think it's going to be up and down, depending on the teams that they're playing especially. Yeah, not too much to say about Brentford. I think they're going to have another average season. They're not going to have much to scream about. So yeah, average. Brighton, I'm going to put in loud. They're going to be enjoying their journey that they're on. They're going to be enjoying Europa League football. They're going to be buzzing throughout the entire season. So as long as they can play well, you know, top 10 finishes maybe, they'll be loud. Very loud, I think. Next up, Burnley, who I think they're going to start off very loud and again drop down to average as their season progresses and they drop points and they're finishing average in the league. I think everyone's tipping Burnley to be one of the three newly promoted sides to stay up. So I do think they'll have an average atmosphere. I think a lot of these teams are going to be average, to be honest. The next up is Man City. I really want to put them in silent because what they do in the league, you know, they can do the triples, they can do all that now. You know, won the Champions League. I do think they're silent for how good they are, but they're not. They're just below average. They do make noise, especially away from home. They are good, so they are below average for me. Next up is Crystal Palace, who are just loud. They've got that one stand, to be honest with you, that's deafening. They could easily become deafening if they had a good season. I think they will do decent this year, depending on Wilfred Zaha and how they spend money this year. But I'm just going to put them in loud for now, playing it safe. And we're going to get our first silent team of the season, and that is Fulham. We all know Fulham aren't loud, they're not much. They probably had a good year with atmosphere this year. They've done well, obviously stayed up. Didn't bounce back down, but I do think that's going to change this year. We've seen Mitrovic is on about going now. So yeah, for me they are just silent. Sorry guys. Liverpool, again another team that could be up here in deafening. But I'm just going to put them in loud. I think other than the cop, they are quite quiet. Not quiet, but you know, like every team, start the game buzzing, and they can quieten down. But in the big games, they really do show up. So against the United, the Cities, the Arsenal, they will show up. So I think they're loud. Could very easily become deafening. Now on to Luton. I'm going to put them in average. I think they're going to have a terrible season, with all due respect. I'm sorry, Luton fans. I do think you're going to have a bad season. But I do genuinely think they're just going to be enjoying the journey. They could easily be loud again, but I don't think their ground's going to allow that. You know, I don't think their ground's big enough to create the atmosphere to be louder than the clubs that are in loud already. Yeah, I could see them being average. Whether they stay up or go down. If they stay up, they're going to be loud. They're going to be unreal. They're going to make that ground horrible to play against Luton will. Which is what they need to do. They need to use what they've got to their advantage. Obviously, they are going to spend near enough £10 million on a revamp on it. But as soon as that's done, you need to make it impossible to play at, I think, and that's going to be very big for Luton. Is their support at home. Next up, Man United. Same again as Liverpool. Got very close to being deafening, but they're just not there. I don't think. I think they'll have an average season for United standards. I think it could be another top 4 finish at the minute. Yeah, I think because these clubs as well are so massive. Old Trafford's so big. Got to make it so much more louder. You have to, in my opinion. We're going to get our first deafening club. And potentially, while I'm looking at what we've got left, our only deafening club, which is Newcastle United. Newcastle United, we all know how good their support is. Helps that they are realistically, other than Sunderland, the only club there. And Sunderland's far enough away to say Newcastle are the only club there. Big ground. A lot of good positive things going on there. Yeah, I just think they'll be deafening again this season. They'll make that place a fortress. They'll try to anyway. And that was massive in part of their success this season, really, is the atmosphere at their ground and how tough they made it to play, and obviously the players. Next up, we got Nottingham Forest. I'm going to say below average. I think they're going to have a tough season again. So as the season goes on, their atmosphere deteriorates, similar to a couple of these teams, I'll be honest, coming up. But yeah, I think they're below average, just due to performance base. Sheffield United, similar, below average. Then again, another candidate to go down. They're going to be in a relegation scrap. Now, a lot of these clubs, so Bournemouth, Everton, Forest, Sheffield United, Fulham, you know, all of these clubs, pretty much their atmosphere will be more or less based on how they perform. I think the only clubs here that I could confidently say will be buzzing is Palace. That one good standard they've got always turns up most of the time, and Newcastle. Newcastle will always, if they're not deafening, they're loud. If they're not loud, they're deafening. So it's one of them. Tottenham, I'm going to put below average. I think they're going to have another poor season. Yeah, another poor season. I don't think they'll be great, especially if they lose Kane. They're in a lot of trouble. If they don't replace him, I think for that size of that ground, you know, you've got such a beautiful ground, make it a fortress, man. You've got a Villa, my club. People might disagree, but I'm going to go loud. Again, another club that's based on performance. I think we'll do well enough this season, though. And similar to Newcastle, similar to Brighton, I'm going to put Luton in there. We are there for a ride. We're having a brilliant journey. Just got Conference League football. We've got the playoffs coming up end of next month. So we'll be hoping to get through that, of course. If we're having a bad season, then that easily drops down to below average. But if we're having a better season than expected, we'll be deafening. We'll be big. We'll be the loudest ground in the league, in my opinion. So I think loud's fair. I do think we are loud, especially in games where we need to turn up. Like the last few at the end of last season, the atmosphere was a joke. People getting notifications for too loud volume levels, things like that. I just think, yeah, another one that's based on performance is West Ham, average. Again, they're not going to do anything special in the league. They've just won the Conference League, so they'll be singing a song or something about that, I'm sure. Just lost Declan Rice, so it's a massive, massive blow for them. They need to replace him very smartly and cleverly. If they can do that, they'll have a decent season, but it all depends on how they replace Declan Rice. Now, last club is Wolves. I'm going to go below average, very easily silent. I think they're a team that can potentially go down this season, depending on who they buy and who they sell. Obviously, you know, they've lost like lots of Ruben Neves and stuff, so I think they've got a massive summer now and a massive season. I think if they're in a relegation scrap, like quite favourites in it, they're definitely silent. But I'd put them below average. They're again another team though that if they start doing well, they're going to be very loud. They'll turn up for the games against Villa and so on. So yeah, that is my prediction. That is not prediction. Sorry, that's my rankings of Premier League football fans this year. We've only got one deafening and one silent. Sorry, Fulham fans. If you enjoy, guys, please be sure to like, comment down below anything you disagree with and how you would rank these sets of fans. And please subscribe, and I will see you all in a bit.